A lot of people ask me, how do you tell good compost from bad compost? And, the reality is we want to know not just what's good, not just what's great, but what's best. Do you want to know what's in your soil? Do you want to know how your soil compares to other people, to your bioregion, to climate analogs across the world? Do you want to be able to read and assess and evaluate those results? Well, I can tell you that the first glimpses of these comparisons are incredibly fascinating, and they open a door and there's a lot more questions. And I even get experts, people who have their own certified laboratories for soil testing, and savvy farmers have sent them the same exact sample, and then they've given divergent results, and then the farmers gone and shared that with the world. And then the lab technicians went on live Zoom together and did it side by side with the same sample, and it still was divergent. So this opens up a door and like begs the question, like, why aren't we doing this transparently? Why aren't we doing this so that we can compare results? Because that's the only way how we get past those type 1 errors is by letting the data and the science and the discussion and the interpretation roll forward. So for the past year, I have been working on this problem. I have been studying what the universities, what they're doing in biology labs, what they're doing in medical labs, what the mycologists are doing, and combining it all and really figuring out the principles behind a lot of these methods, because there literally are principles behind, counting bacteria under a microscope. And all labs have their own protocols based off of those principles that they tweak for the medium that they're dealing with, whether it's blood or tissue or, plants or mushroom. It doesn't matter. They're going to tailor it to what they're working on, which makes a lot of sense. And it's science, and we want people to do experiments to prove out their ideas and their thoughts. So, of course, we would want the ability to create your own methods and protocols to be possible. And that's what I've been working on, and I've had some incredible discoveries. Instead of paying like $800 for a live dead stain kit that will do different colors for live and dead microbes for just pennies, for just drops every usage, I've got a protocol that just is 1,000 times less expensive. I've actually been able to take old protocols that seemed outdated because of the old technology, but because of new technology, we can use them again in different ways. So I'm so excited because there's new ways to visualize things under the microscope. There's new ways to use the microscope. There's new breakthroughs constantly in the microscope world. Even with the limitations that there are, there's new methods, new discoveries that are happening constantly. And I want to share them with you, and also to open the door to allow other people to innovate and share, so that the entire practice and world of soil science and soil microscopy can move forward faster and faster. So this has been a little bit of a prickly pear for me, because I'm poking at people's conclusions. And I've had to be really prepared and really confident in order to come out and share everything I've been seeing and doing. And that's why I went ahead and I wrote the entire manuscript. So it doesn't have the pictures in it yet, but all the words are here, and it needs to be edited, and there needs to be a conclusion. But the bulk of it's done. The work is primarily done. Formatting. Some of the pictures I need to get better pictures of, and there's a few pictures that I really want to get and capture. So there's a few things that need to be done and nailed down still, but the bulk of the work is done. The protocols themselves are done, and I've never been this prepared for a Kickstarter ever. Regenerative Soil Microscopy is a manual for how to explore, assess, and evaluate your soil, your compost, your roots, mycorrhizae and microbes, and more. These things can be applied, these principles and ideas can be applied and adapted especially once we understand how they work. And it's all stepped out. So it's visual, it's also written, but you'll be able to follow along like a picture book and copy the steps. You'll be able to learn how to operate a microscope. You'll be able to learn how to work with stains. You'll be able to learn bright field, dark field, epifluorescence, all the most powerful modes of microscopy you'll have at your fingertips. And you'll be able to capture, catalog, assess, and evaluate, and then make clear choices and decisions to improve that soil. The fact is, even children can operate a microscope. It's really the interpretation, discussion, and documentation and organization of that information that's necessary at this next level. And that's why it's going to take a trilogy of books. The third one being Regenerative Soil DNA. And it's going to take a public database to organize this information so that we can run this data against itself and that we can expose all these caveats and connections and get nearly an infinite amount of feedback and insight possibilities out of over 100 points of distinction that you can run against each other, as well as DNA. So the DNA sequencing is going to unlock things even more and allow us to understand microscopy at such a deeper level. We're going to be able to check our answers, but when 1,000 or 100,000 entries have been entered and we start connecting these things and going across bioregions, across pH, it will open the door to data that no scientist has ever had access to before. And it's going to be public, so we all have access to it, so that information doesn't get locked up. But I need you to know how to operate your microscope and to catalog these things and interpret these things so that you can add to the database and be part of this. So I built an online community training and certification program that dovetails and goes deeper than the textbook. So we're there working together. There's live Q&A. There's live demonstrations, and there's an online community where you can connect with people from all over the world interested in soil science. You can support this campaign with confidence because this will be my 21st book, my 14th online course. I've always delivered on my Kickstarters, always delivered on my promises, but I need your help to make this Kickstarter massive so that we can unlock the soil solutions and push soil science further than it's ever been, because soil is the linchpin for life. Soil science is the most important and the most neglected science in so many different ways because we only have 50 years of harvest left in our topsoil, according to experts. That means, and it's almost unbearable to imagine, that means that our kids are going, and their kids are going to inherit a world that's desertified, that's plagued with famines and collapse. And I can't, I don't know about you, but I can't allow that. I can't live with that as like the future. And I know that together with this database, showing what's possible, making it self-evident what we can do with soil, with sequestration, with our food, with reversing desertification, it all can be shown and demonstrated. You can be instrumental in this process by supporting this campaign. You can be part of the exploration, the discovery, the evaluation, the assessment, the documentation. You can be recognized for your efforts. This is an opportunity of a lifetime. This has never been created, never been tried before. And it's so obvious. It's really, I've been talking to the engineers, it's so easy to create this kind of database and make it incredibly powerful because it's so simple and easy on one hand. And on the other, we can get so complicated. It can get infinite in how we compare these data points. I invite you to Regenerative Soil Microscopy, the book, the course, and our soil database. Join us as the Regenerative Soil Trilogy continues. I'm Matt Powers. Grow abundantly, learn daily, and live regeneratively. Check it out below. Check out all the amazing rewards. Support this campaign. Share it with your friends and family. Share it with all your friends who love compost and love soil. Let's change soil science as we know it. Let's unlock all the secrets. A new horizon in soil science is upon us, and you're all invited to participate. And remember, it's a Kickstarter, so if you don't support it, it doesn't happen. Get Regenerative Soil Microscopy, the book, the course, and join us in the Our Soil database.